My name is Michael Wilf, and I am a senior in Fusco House. As a person, I would describe
I
myself
was a very enthusiastic student who was always eager to learn as much as possible and very hardworking and diligent.
I did not attend Hillsdale for all 4 years. I recently transferred here junior year, second semester.
Honestly, I think that this project was a waste of time.
You know, I mean, it was kind of necessary. It was kind of tedious to prove I have to graduate after I've done my work. So
a lot of times it's like seeing other kids and other students not really having to do it, and then especially when we have other coursework to do as well on top of this, and then afterwards, then you have to worry about AP tests and finals.
You might have heard I didn't want to do this whole project in general because I believe that I could use my time in other ways.
However, did I achieve like any of the skills or some higher degree of thoughtfulness or critical thinking from this project? Absolutely not.
I hate the PGC, I hate this project, I think it's a waste of time. This has been literally the worst 4 weeks of my life.
Yes, senior defense, it goes back to 1997. We kept asking ourselves, do these students have they really demonstrated what we think they should have demonstrated in order to graduate? Do we feel confident that they can go to college? And the answer too often was, well, they turned in certain assignments, they got a D-, they came back and did some makeup work, but we really didn't know that they had the skills necessary to be successful. And that began this sort of 15, 18-year journey toward developing a senior defense, so that in the end, our concern is not just that students can get into college, but that they will be successful when they go to college. What I've seen is that students who are more articulate, students who go to college and they come back, and then they come back and talk to us. They say, I didn't like it when I did it, but I know why you did it, and I'm glad I did it now. I was at a gas station the other day, and a graduate from 2013 was there, and he was reading a book, and he said, Mr. Gilbert, how are you doing? He said, defenses are coming up, so it's a busy time. He said, it was awful when I did it. I didn't want to do it, but now I'm at CSM, and almost everything I'm doing has been impacted by my senior defense. And I'm going to he's majoring in music production and planning to transfer, and it's exactly the response you want. And I get emails, I get people who come by, and I think that's really why we continue to do it, because students 2 years from now look back and say, oh, I get it now.
So part of the purpose of the senior defense is to give the students, to give our seniors the opportunity to take all of that work that they've been working so hard on and that they're hopefully so proud of over those 4 years, and giving them one final opportunity to reflect on where the students have grown over the 4 years, where they're particularly strong in after 4 years, and honestly to reflect on the challenges that seniors still have, just like all of us still have after studying for a number of years. What are some areas that students still have to grow? So part of the purpose of the senior defense is just the reflective process. Another part of the senior defense is to really get more in depth with some of the projects. The seniors get to choose 1 or 2 different projects that they would like to speak about, and part of the senior defense is really getting more in depth, more in detail in those projects during the interview sort of process of the senior defense. And then related to that finally is in the interview aspect of this senior defense is really that really tough ability that we're trying to help our seniors with, which being able to answer questions on the spot, having to improvise, work with difficult questions that they couldn't necessarily rehearse or prepare for, that is rooted in their work that they've done over the years, but is still something a little bit new. And I guess one final piece of the senior defense that's important is that application task where the students get together in a room, they're given a bunch of source materials similar to what students have been doing in their English classes, oftentimes social studies classes, maybe Spanish classes, other classes on campus, where the students have to sit down one more time, take a variety of sources, analyze them, break them apart, try to figure out issues with reliability and credibility, issues with bias, use those reading strategies to attack the text, and then come together with one final little presentation to really show what students can do without really any help from a teacher whatsoever. What can you do finally on your own? Students continue to say that the public speaking aspect to the presentation as anxiety producing as it might be, is really a wonderful, important skill, so that when students are going to college or maybe going into careers right after high school that require speaking in public in front of a group of an audience, that students tend to feel more comfortable with that. So that's one thing that I think students have been very happy with over the years.
Yeah. Well, I think that we all have had the opportunity to go through college, and I think about my first year. You know, I was a Stanford student, and I'm sitting there in my classes, and my lack of self-understanding, it really took me an entire semester at least in college to get to a better understanding of who I was as a learner, what my strengths were, what my weaknesses were. I wasn't grounded in my ability to talk about or think about the curriculum in a meta way, to think about my own processes. I think that stuff is invaluable, and I think that's speaking to somebody who went to, I had the 4.0, I went to Stanford. I was not prepared in a way that I think this defense process prepares students to be ready to take advantage of even the most elite universities. So I'm not saying that it's going to feel completely valuable in the moment, but in a lot of ways I think it will pay off